Welcome back, and the program is still for the record. And remember, I did say at the end of the last segment, if you're watching and you know anybody who'd like to be or who is in the music industry and needs the requisite knowledge to succeed, then you don't want to miss this one. You want to be recording this. Yeah. If you call me after, I might charge you to get more information from this program to you. I have with me a talent manager and music business consultant. We don't have many of them in our industry, so we're really, really pleased to have Mr. Godwin Tom in the building.
Thank you,
my brother.
Thank
Waiting
you.
card you come, this is our cold London.
Work and chill.
And chill?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's cold enough, so yes, chill.
The chill is permanent,
Yeah.
up till the next month. Hopefully it gets better.
Yeah, but mainly work. Luckily, one of it was announced today,
Okay.
which is the Ends Festival. So one day has been added to the bill.
Okay.
For the Ends Festival in Croydon this June. So
I think that broke last year, or the announcement broke last
the
year.
announcement broke last year.
But Wizkid on it.
Yeah, got Nas, got Damian Marley. So one day just got on that now. So that's one of the things I came for.
That's a
So,
good one.
yeah.
So that's signed and sealed.
Yes, that's done.
Awesome. You had a meetup yesterday,
Yes.
and the theme was drinks and
Music business conversation.
music business. Okay, just give me a rundown of what that conversation was about.
Well, so generally what happens is people always reach out to me to ask questions, and because of my schedule, it's difficult for me to have those conversations with them one-on-one
It's
all
like
the
globally
time.
now.
A lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah,
reach
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So what I do is I have these sessions when I travel, where I just I'll just have drinks. You come in, buy drinks, we sit down, and whatever questions you have, you can ask. So 10, 15, 20 people. I've done one, there were 40 people there. So it's just come
Very
in.
impromptu.
Yeah, very impromptu.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
I'm gonna be at this place, come through, have drinks, talk, and then people ask questions. Yesterday I was there till past midnight. People didn't
It was
want
meant
to
to
let
be.
me go.
It was meant to end at 10.
It was meant to, yeah, it was meant to. Me, I was worried about people getting on the train. They didn't care
yeah.
much. They just
But once you're getting the nuggets, come
Yeah.
on, what's the worst thing that can happen? An
Yeah.
extra Uber ride.
Abi.
And
Yes,
what was the main thread of the conversation? What was the
Well, generally, people wanted to know what it was like doing business in Nigeria,
Okay.
and they wanted to know
entertainment business?
Yes, entertainment
Okay.
business, and they wanted to know how they could go into doing business. There was a guy who was saying he wants to move to Nigeria and do business for
That
the
scares
next
a lot of
year.
aspirants.
Yeah, he said he wants to go back and he wants to move in, so he wants to know what he should start doing now. There's
And if you start at that point,
yeah,
let's say you have a practitioner, because you're either an artist on the front end,
yeah,
or you're on the back end doing
Yeah.
stuff, and maybe you've lived in diaspora for a period of time and you're thinking, okay, this whole entertainment thing is blowing up in Nigeria. How would you advise such a person?
The
make
first
that
thing
move?
I'll tell them is they need to understand that it's a smoke screen. Right, so don't get too excited. Don't jump in.
No, it's not an encouraging way to start.
But it's the truth.
Okay.
All right. There's the ratio is really high, so it's one in 1,000, 2,000
And that's
artists. that are-
generally within the industry, they generally.
Yeah, so it's important that you don't just jump in. Like what I said to the guys yesterday, do some research. Who should you be partnering with? If you're going somewhere, you check on your map the location that you're going to.
How to
You
walk
don't
out.
just show up at
Exactly.
the train station and start wondering what train do I take now. You might need to go to 2 other train stations to find your way. So it's important for people to understand, first of all, that it's not always what it seems. You know, you go to a club. I remember someone telling me, but this artist has a lot of money and is buying drinks in the club, and I'm like, how do you know the club didn't give the artist so you
It is
could
December.
come? Yeah.
People come to a lot of diasporans come to Nigeria in December,
Yeah.
and it's a good thing because
Yeah.
Nigeria in December, particularly Lagos,
Yeah.
for a lot of diasporans, it's like for the entire December there's something happening
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah, literally
a lot
every
of
day.
money is circulating. Just this December gone, about 4 or 5 major concerts,
Yeah.
all sold out.
Yeah.
They do the club run every night, and they come back to the UK and say, they are making a lot of money in that Nigeria.
Yeah, it's a smoke screen.
Okay.
It's a smoke screen. So it's just understanding how the system works. There are a handful of artists making a bulk of the money.
Okay.
So if you look at if you could look at 20 shows.
The Premiership.
Yes, look at the 20 shows. You will see the same artist at those shows.
Okay.
Generally, so their end of year parties. So the artist makes the bulk of their money from the end of year parties, weddings. Just some people throw some parties in their houses.
Exactly.
They have money.
Private
Private events.
Show up and do
So
a thing.
that's the bread and butter of the artist. But there's a handful of artists that they select. So if over the year, you didn't put out a song that got the attention of a lot of people, or people don't feel like you did well, they're not gonna call you.
Okay.
So it's really a handful of people every year. So December is everybody puts out music. You see, towards September, August, September, people start releasing music and
targeting
December. So it's understanding how the system works. It's not just jumping into it. There's a lot to consider.
So if you look at Nigeria right now, there's a lot of buzz going out globally about this sound, Afrobeat.
Yes.
And we have kind of like leading practitioner or leading artists like the likes of Wizkid, Davido, Burna is coming up real fast, you know, Tiwa Savage. And even there was a time the ladies were like kind of few and far between, but they're kind of like getting that kind of representation as well.
Yeah.
So it's a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
But what you've just said now is really that in the real sense of it is just a handful.
It's a handful, yeah. Even with the people that the international brands are noticing, it's really a handful.
Okay.
And most of the brands aren't doing the work to sort of develop local talent. So we still come back to the same people.
They just want to feed off whoever is ready now.
Exactly. So it's really looking at, there's a lot of attention, yes, but the best way that we can actually take advantage is to work together. We need to start shining light on multiple artists and defining our own sound as well. So there's conversations around the term Afrobeats has brought out a lot of attention back to Nigeria.
Categorization,
right?
Yeah.
It has brought a lot of attention.
Though it's a contentious title.
Yeah, people say what they want to say, but the fact is it's brought a lot of attention.
So it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. What we haven't done is harness that buzz and that noise and that awareness and then convert it into education for people who are, like, you don't go and fight Afrobeats. Tell them, okay, there's Afrobeats, this is what you call it. This is what we, but this is what we call it, right?
Okay.
You know, there's Fuji music as well. There's a fusion of this sound and this sound, this creates this. There's Afro pop. There's what's pop in the UK is not pop in Nigeria, right? Pop is popular music.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it varies in the different
Territory
markets. So it's understanding how we can now harness the buzz that we get and the attention that we get to ensuring that we're able to market and promote our culture, our music, high life music, down to like SDC now doing palm wine music, which is a mixture of high life music and hip hop,
okay.
right? And they've done that with hip life already in Ghana. So these are things that we need to start selling instead of fighting the conversation.
You talk a lot about the education, the knowledge side of things. So in understanding this terrain, I think the challenge is perhaps we're not tapping into other levels of income streams.
Yeah.
And I think that's perhaps part of the problem, because if there are only a limited amount of artists that are kind of like creating this buzz, what are the other income streams that people can also look at, you know, kind of like affiliated to that, to the industry, apart from just the artists on stage?
Yeah.
What are other things they can be looking at?
Harnessing their audience. There are multiple revenue streams that people, not everybody wants to be Wizkid, everybody wants to be David, but it's not possible. It's statistically impossible. And I think that for most people, that process of understanding how systems work, educating themselves about it, is the difficult part, because they have to then wait. You know, they have to, now everybody wants to hire somebody. Just bring somebody, let the person get me from point A to point B quickly. But if you actually take your time to understand how this is, exactly, right? So what happens most of the time is I get words from labor owners or investors who tell me, oh, this person has already chopped 15 million of my money, or 20 million of my money. I've not seen my artist video on TV, and those things will continue to happen because people don't know what to expect. So somebody comes in, speaks the English a little, you know, push the button, and then everybody, all right, give him money. He knows what he's doing. Name drop a few people, and it happens. But I think once we start educating more people, more managers, more creative entrepreneurs get a chance to ask more questions. And the more questions that they're asking, the more difficult it is for somebody to deceive them, for someone to take advantage of them. And I think that's why education is important. It puts everyone in check. And I think if more people who have made mistakes, more people who have done, you know, egbons them, as we call them, right? Made mistakes and say, you know what, let me invest a little into the guys coming after and put some money down, hold some free workshops, educate these guys and say, look, this is how you build structure. What caused my change was 8 years into my career, I was sitting with my lawyers and they said, my brother, you have to shut this business down. And I said, why? They said, well,
which was how many zeros down now at this stage? A few.
A few, you know, and I looked at it and I said to myself, well, I I've been doing the wrong thing for 8 years, from my taxes to my accounting processes to my structural processes.
And this is you right now.
This is me, right? So I'm looking at that and I'm saying to myself, if only somebody taught me, if only somebody said, do this thing properly, it would have helped me a lot. But because nobody did, now I'm trying to make sure other people learn.
10 years a learner campaign.
Yes, sir.
That is kind of like almost like a sum total of your career so far.
Yes, as a manager.
Yeah, as a manager. We're going to go on a break right now. When we come back, it's going to give us a few nuggets on his 10 years a learner campaign. Stay tuned.